Welcome to CaseWare ReviewCompTax, connecting data, workflows, and results. We've invited you to take a look at this entirely cloud-based software, allowing firms to complete reviews, compilations, and corporate tax returns in one integrated solution with guided workflow and optimization built throughout. This one-stop shop solution not only manages reviews, compilations, and T2s, it also includes content such as letters, financials, tax forms, and PEG content is built throughout to ensure compliance and quality at all times. The built-in optimizers and guided workflow keep staff fast and focused on what needs to be completed now. RCT also includes a completely integrated provided by client or PBC workflow tool to streamline, organize, and manage your document and information requests. All of this is completely cloud-based, meaning it is completely multi-user and accessible from wherever you may be working from. CaseWare ReviewCompTax intelligently combines these engagements into one workflow. With this, data flows through to financial statements and tax returns alike. The results: engagements are completed faster with automated processes, real-time collaboration, and value-added insights. Here we have 4 typical types of engagements: compilations, reviews, tax, and financials. And what we've done is we've taken these very separate processes and built an engagement solution that brings them together in all one platform. Typically, work is duplicated because they've historically been run as separate engagements. With RCT, the data is entered once and flows through the entire engagement, including the letters, financials, tax forms, and work programs. With CaseWare RCT, we also integrate and streamline other areas of your practice that you must manage to complete the engagement, and we'll be taking a look at this during the presentation. Let's break the benefits of RCT into 3 broad categories: streamlined workflows, real-time collaboration, greater data insights. When we think streamlined workflows, what we really want to do is single source the data wherever possible, cut down on risk of error, duplication of work, and improve turnaround time while increasing quality and ensuring compliance. With RCT, we can track the entire scope, timeline, and execution of your engagements in real time. Client information is entered once, will be automatically updated throughout the financial statements and tax files to reduce the likelihood of errors, share dashboards that flag issues, and ensure responsibilities are met on schedule. Using client data and responses to preset questions, the scope of work is automatically tailored in size and complexity as needed. CPA content from the Practice Engagement Guide is built in and is automatically updated. When we think real-time collaboration, with RCT in mind, we're thinking internal and external, staff and clients alike. All communication are securely sent, received, and tracked. Streamlined processes, eliminate the need for multiple email threads, communicate with clients and colleagues in one secure online location, and work together with colleagues on the same documents at the same time from anywhere on multiple devices. Once data is in RCT, we can achieve greater data insights with a number of tools available in RCT. We can visually compare the data, find anomalies, discover trends and patterns with integrated predefined data analytics, intelligently display information to allow for value-added testing. Analysis charts are built in and automatically link data throughout the entire engagement. And this brings us to the demo, and we're going to take a look at what this looks like in real time. Because RCT is powered by the CaseWare Cloud platform, all we need to access it is a supported browser. Through single sourcing information, we can leverage the data to power and streamline your engagements. From a CRM standpoint, we have all of your clients available in CaseWare Cloud, and the information contained within the clients, like this dashboard we see here, is actually going to flow through and power the engagement itself. Again, we want to single source the data. So if you've entered it here, we want that to populate things in RCT automatically. You can already see a lot of valuable information like the client contacts, Sarah Hughes is who we're going to be working with today, company, industry type, prior engagements, and much more, all readily accessible on one dashboard. At the very bottom, I can go ahead and click New, select ReviewCompTax, and we're going to go ahead and spin up an engagement in real time. So I'm going to go ahead, put in the name. You'll notice a carry forward data from screen. So whenever we create a brand new engagement in RCT, it's always going to base it on the latest content. So this is one of the ways that we can ensure compliance and quality at all times. Whenever the PEG forms are updated, whenever you create a new file, that new content will automatically be part of the new engagement. And then what we can do is we can carry forward data from the prior file if we wanted to pull in some of the history. For today's demo, I'm going to start it as a brand new engagement, and I'm going to pull in current and prior trial balance as we progress. But very quickly, I'm going to select the start date, end date, budgeting hours, budget amount. We'll say 4,500. The preparer will be myself today. And I'll just add a second contact here so everyone can see the functionality and click Save. And just like that, we're going to spin up a brand new engagement inside CaseWare Cloud, RCT. We can already see some of the CRM components, CaseWare Cloud, pulling through things like the company name, the year and start date and year end date. We also have workflow built in, so as we progress through, these workflow stages will change automatically, but I'm going to go ahead and click Save. And here's our starting point, the optimizer. So this is the optimization tool, one of the examples of the optimization tool within RCT. So really what it is like an intelligent checklist. There's not very much information in front of me, but as I provide answers to this optimizer checklist, only the right content is going to scope in at the right time. So we'll go ahead and we'll take a look at what that looks like. Again, we can see information from the CRM pulling through. It's a corporation. This will drive things like requesting articles of incorporation. I'm going to select compilation and tax return. This will provide some more questions that I will provide some responses to. Is this the first year of operations? I'll say no. Is this the first year of filing a corporate tax return? I'll say no. Did you basically engage with them in the previous year? I'll say yes. If this was a review, this would then generate a continuance letter instead of an acceptance letter. Again, some of the logic that's driving the automation. It is a compilation, so it'll insert a compilation letter. I'm going to go ahead and answer a few more questions. Ask me financials. I only have one practicing partner, maybe I'm a sole practitioner. This will singular wording throughout the letters instead of pluralization. Again, sole sourcing. And if I quickly jump back to the document page, we're actually going to jump through the next step functionality in a bit. But before I go through the intended workflow, I just want to jump back to the document page so everyone that's watching this session can see that all of the content essentially is populating as needed. Okay, so I'm going to go back into the planning optimizer document so we can work our way through the intended workflow. I'd probably want to go ahead and sign off on this and click the next step button, which guides staff to the next step. In this case, it's a compilation engagement letter. We're going to see the letter is already loaded in, so it's actually done. If you needed to change the wording, fine tune it, you can actually do that, and you can do that at a template level. So that on a go forward basis, all of your future engagements will be pulling in, the firm prescribed engagement wording. I'm going to go ahead and use these built-in placeholders. I'm going to select today's date. I will select the person that I'm going to send this to. So again, through the CaseWare Cloud platform, I'm able to pull through those contacts. And I would scroll through and I'd work my way through the various placeholders. We'll have key dates. We'll have like estimation of fees. I'm going to sign off a little prematurely just to show you as well that it'll warn me that 19 placeholders have not been set. So we've got built-in safety mechanisms to make sure all of the work has been done. And again, I'm just going to go to the next step. This is going to drive me through to what we call the client queries sometimes. Essentially, it's the PBC functionality that's built into CaseWare RCT. So we know that you're going to need things like engagement letters, trial balance, copy the data file, entity-specific documents. It's a corporation. So we've already loaded these in for you. So effectively, all you have to do is click send. Now, based on your responses earlier, it could tailor this. You can also create your own logic. If for some reason you feel you don't need something, you can always hide this so that it's not sent to the client. And you can also add your own requests. You can also do this at the template level so that if you know that on a regular basis, that's your starting point, you can also save that as well. But we feel we've done a great job initially just as like the starting point for most firms. So I'm going to go ahead and just pull through the query due date. In this case, I'll give them till next Friday. Select the contact again and put something in the email body so they kind of know what this request is all about. Hi, Sarah, please deliver the following so we can get started or something like that. I'll go ahead and I'll click OK. And what happens here is the client will get an email letting her know that we've requested something. So the mechanism to notify her is through email, but she will log into CaseWare Cloud and deliver the requested documents through Secure Portal, and we'll take a look at what that looks like. You'll also notice on the top left-hand side, we've got filters, which will show us how many have been sent, how many have actually been responded, how many have been returned, and how many are completed. And this will update as the client interacts or as you interact. So let's quickly open up another browser, and we'll show you what Sarah would receive on her end. Okay, so Sarah gets an email. She clicks the email. She will see the request itself. Please deliver the following. It's all nicely branded. She clicks the View Details button. That will drive her into your cloud site. She'll log in with her secure credentials, and she'll be able to deliver the requested documents. Again, she still has the same view, essentially the same view we have. We're all on the same page. This gives us much more visibility into the different activities, not only in the firm as to like what the staff might be doing, but also the client knows what stage of the game that they're in. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to drag in the engagement letter. Just drag and drop and click. Oh, there we go. And click respond. I'll pull in a copy of the TB, or the trial balance, I should say. And I'll click send. And then copy the data file. She could drag in the copy the data file. Just as an example, a comment, is this what you need? So we can comment on here. She'll mark this off as sent. And we'll get a notification letting us know that she's gone ahead and done that. So we can come in, again, we can see the workflow has been updated. And she also sees that 3 have been responded, 9 are awaiting response. Nothing's been returned or completed. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm actually going to accept. And we'll over here see that it's been completed, accept. And if we need to, we can return it back, but I am going to go ahead and I'm just going to say, this is perfect. Comment, and we have a history of all this now, and I'm going to go ahead and accept. The other really nice thing is as soon as we've accepted it, they will automatically slide into the relevant placeholder that's already been pre-designed by us for you. Again, within these folders, you can create your own new subfolders, memos, worksheets, checklists, as well as your own placeholders, so that if you did create another checklist, you incorporated your own documents, you can define where they go when you've actually accepted them. Okay, so this is the intended workflow. Again, really what we're trying to do here is enable firms to integrate this process, providing more visibility into all of the requests, reducing the time it takes to gather responses, close out open items, and really just get to the finish line. Typically, we hear that a lot of groups, you're dealing with spreadsheets, you're sifting through emails. I mean, I think everyone kind of universally experiences these pains. So what we've done is create an integrated approach. In fact, with some of the larger engagements with like reviews, and even in this compilation example, we have a queries tab, which will actually give you a nice readout of all of the different requests going on in this engagement. So there may be different times during the process that you're going to be requesting things. We can come into one shared dashboard. We can see who they're sent to, what the percentage of completion is essentially, and what the status is. So this allows all the stakeholders to be on the same page, and your client can also see, what things are outstanding on her end as well. So it leaves some of those gray areas that kind of disappear. Okay, so we have the trial balance. So we're going to go to the data page, and we have a signed engagement letter. We're really at this point ready to get started. It's worth noting that we still support the 50+ desktop direct imports that we've always supported in CaseWare Working Paper, so you don't lose anything. Excel or CSV continues to be the catch-all. It is a pure cloud product, so we have APIs built to directly get into your QuickBooks and Xero accounts and pull the information in, so we have direct integration there. And we can also import directly from Working Papers. And since there's a lot of Canadian firms looking at migrating from Working Papers into something like RCT, we'll show you the import from CaseWare Working Papers so you get an idea of what that looks like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open up Working Papers. And for migration purposes, we give you access to something called the Cloud Bridge tool. And basically, you just drag it into the document manager, you double click. You will select the engagement that you're working on, the years of data you want to pull in, and we give you a remap file, which will basically take the mapping inside CaseWare Working Papers and match it up on the mapping in RCT and click Transfer Data. Now, for those of you that have deviated from the sample mapping or the template mapping 111 cache, you just go ahead and rejig that file so that it'll basically point your customized groupings to the groupings or the mapping in RCT. And that way you don't have to do it for each and every file. You can just basically replicate the process by clicking the migration tool. And you can see everything's mapped for us. So this includes both the financial groupings as well as the tax groupings. So this information is already flowing through to both our financial statements and our tax forms. So let's just take a quick peek at the financials. And again, this is out of the box functionality. We've got a nice balance sheet here, statement of income, retained earnings, all stock out of the box, no need to do anything, and you have this done. We also have these nice placeholders remaining, which we can just start to click through and just get directed to the next placeholder. Again, we want to keep staff on track. We also have the tax forms, which are also being populated. So we'll go to the S100 balance sheet. We'll go back to the financial statements, of course, in just a second, but I just want everyone to see that the information is flowing everywhere. So single sourced. We want to cut down all the duplication wherever possible, and all the information is flowing everywhere at once. Okay, we'll come back to tax as well. Just for now, I just want to show you that both of those are complete. So we're going to go back to the documents page, and what I want to do is go to the financial statement optimizer. So earlier we had a balance sheet, we had a statement of retained earnings. What we can do with the optimizer document is, again, answering some simple questions. We're going to start to modify or tailor the content, the output, as needed. So would you like a combined retained earnings with statement of income and loss? Yes, it's combined now. I'll flip back and we'll see it's changed. Would you like to include analysis graphs as part of your financial statements? definitely. Part of my business services, I definitely want to see what some of those underlying numbers look like. Would you like to include a variance column in the financial statements? I'll click yes. And in the case of the statement of income and retained earnings, this time I want to have both a $ and percentage variance column. I don't need a statement of cash flows. I would like one note. Just as an example, I'll go ahead and select cash and cash equivalents, and that's going to add that note to my financial statements. And where it did say balance sheet earlier, maybe my client prefers statement of financial position. I'll go ahead and select that, and we're done. I'm going to jump back again, guided workflow, back to the next likely place, which is the financial statements. And we're going to see that we now have a statement of financial position instead of balance sheet. We've got a combined statement of income and retained earnings. We have the nice variance columns, percentage and dollar is what I selected. We also have some statement analysis graphs. Just give that a couple seconds to load up. There we go. Okay, so we've got lots of value add we can provide to our client right out of the gates. Lots of valuable information. And we've got that note. So we've added the cash and cash equivalent note. Okay, just like that. Now, if we need to add notes within this screen, we can as well, of course. So we can go ahead and insert from the library, and we have a robust, comprehensive disclosure note library, categorized, broken down into groups just to make things easy to find. And I'm going to go ahead and just select the restricted cash note here, and we're going to see that gets added automatically as well. There's our new restricted cash note, which dropped down at the bottom here. Now let's say we want to create something from scratch. Now, if I was to create a note from scratch, I would definitely recommend doing it at the template level so it's available in future engagements. But just to create something quickly for demo purposes, we're going to go ahead and we're going to create a brand new note. And we're going to see how easy it is with the dynamic table functionality to create new content or modify content if needed. So PP&E, we'll say it's a PP&E note just for short. We will say this is the detailed PP&E. We're going to go ahead and add a text section for the period and the FX button. There's a number of functionalities in here, but just to quickly pull some information from the engagement, year start date to year end date. We will add a dynamic table, same dynamic table that we use for our financial statement. So the same process would apply here. Edit that blank slate. We've got nice structure. If I want to add a column, add a third year, get reduced down to 1 year, whatever the case is, add some trial balance information, just do a quick text search, property, plant, equipment. We can use the expansion button. If we expand and print, it prints expanded. If we collapse and print, it prints collapsed. Or you could add them one by one. We'll put in a commentary row. We could add a note, commentary, and we'll go ahead and add a page break. Okay, note's done. Click save. And the note's now part of our financials. Now again, you'd probably want to do this at the template level so that this note is now available in future engagements. We do already have a property, plant, and equipment note, of course, but it's just one example of how easy it is to create content. And again, the same process would be used if you wanted to modify the financials. I could come in here at ideally the template level, edit the dynamic table, or create your own dynamic table and create something from scratch, up to you. But you can come in here and do the same thing. It's super straightforward. If I want to just drag and drop, reorder, very, very, very user-friendly compared to what we've, how we've dealt with things like this in the past. And we certainly don't want you going to Word and Excel if you don't have to, so we can do it all here. Okay, so this is all built in. Now we'll flip back to the data page again, and we're just going to take a look at the new view. Once we have trial balance information imported, we can see why we're now calling the data page. Trial balance is essentially data, and what we want to do is leverage that data wherever possible. Whether we're looking at just basically searching by financial groups or tax groupings, or adding things like variance columns or tax codes, all of this can be, it's like a working trial balance, but we can also go ahead and search for things that are material, or we could even search for, maybe like a range of balance. So just flip over to accounts, or run a filter, and I'll say I want, everything that's over $1,000, or maybe I want just my cash items, right? Just my cash items, or things that are material or have issues assigned to them. So we want to make this very workable. You can come in here and you can add your annotations. So I'll click over here. You'll notice some machine learning. It's actually going to start to provide us some suggestions. So I'm going to create my annotation, just agrees to S100. This is global, so everywhere that 101 appears, including other grouping-based reports elsewhere, this will show up. I can also go ahead and add any issues. Maybe needs a reconciliation, needs a rec. And we'll say this one is a to-do. We do have different options. Create. We can also create issues up here, which are more like global in nature, like a pervasive issue. Looks suspicious or something, and I'll add, we'll just call this one issue 2. And we'll say this one's a deficiency and create. Okay, so this is a workable trial balance. We can go ahead and we can work our way through it. Small client with 20 accounts. We could probably do everything right here, but we do have some lead sheet grouping documents we'll show you later for larger clients or for reviews. We'll go further into the document manager in a little bit, but we can also do our issues. We can do global issues. Worth noting too, this is also where we can download a reference copy, like a nice PDF version of the file. And we can see all of the issues here, so we can workflow it. Transparency, everybody's on the same page. We can sort by status, we can sort by type, we can resolve, clear, etc. Okay, so this is like the working trial balance that we do call the data page now, because this is data that we're dealing with. So if I jump back to my documents page, I actually want to go into the tax optimizer. So again, we want to optimize wherever possible. All the information is flowing to the financial statements and the tax forms, but we can still optimize the tax return itself. So there's a long list of questions. You can actually see a lot of them are already filled out for us. So all these blue are pre-answered. So either it's a question we've already answered in the initial optimizer that's going to flow through, or it could be some logic, or it could even be information that's in CaseWare Cloud, like this is a Canadian controlled private corporation. All right, we have net income up here. We have our taxable income. I'm going to quickly select the provincial jurisdiction, Ontario. And this is an example of a required diagnostic. So when it's red, it's required. We need to fill that out before we can e-file. And just like that, we can see the provincial tax information flow through as well. Okay, so we'd work our way through. And we do have links, so you can just jump right into the actual work, the tax form itself, or you can answer the question. So it's up to you the order of things that you want to go. But we do also have a nice diagnostics page where you can come in and just start clearing diagnostics. So we can categorize, we can sort and filter by the category, or we can go by, what type it is. So typically we want to come right into maybe the required. It'll give us all the required. Maybe we want to see them all. It's up to you. We can then collapse and expand the linkages themselves. And what we can do is just click the link. It'll drive us to that particular diagnostic, and actually, if you notice, pull me right down to the line and nice pulsating red, so I know exactly where I need to go, and I go and clear that. And then once you've cleared all the diagnostics, then you can come into the e-file screen. And if you have the required credentials, you can log in and e-file. And we are approved in all 13 provinces and territories. We do also have a pre-validation tool you can run just in case maybe the address has changed or something since the last return. From an import-export standpoint, we can import from Tax Prep CSV. That will actually flow through all the trial balance information, will flow through the tax forms. We can also go to autofill, assuming they've filed before, and we can also import from Giphy. And although we feel it's a lot of benefit to being able to run it all in one place and cut down on duplication, you can export to Giphy if you did need to get this tax information out. We can also print all the different copies, including like a client copy, and you'll notice like Alberta and Quebec, so again, all 13 provinces and territories, and we can basically print them out if need be. All right, so that's the tax side of things. So let's go to the document manager, because I'm quite often asked, I love the PBC functionality, everything's streamlined, but what if I get something, in an email or however the case is, I scan something and I just want to pull it into the document manager. So of course you can still drag and drop into the document manager. So what I'll do is I'll quickly pull up a folder here. I got a couple documents. I'll drag in a bank statement, and just one example of a PDF and one example of Excel. Word, anything else will work as well, but these are just like the two prime examples. We can work directly on PDF, so I can come in here and I can annotate the PDF as well. Again, machine learning, it'll kind of give you some suggestions as to where this should go. I can sign off, and of course we can add an issue if necessary. I'll jump back to the documents page. On the documents page, I'm just going to fully sign off so we can see the actual percentage of completion change. So we'll go to fully sign off. So it's 1 of 4 documents, so it's 25%. This is dynamic, so it'll change as things progress. And we'll open up Excel as well. Okay, so here's an Excel-based document. I'll just add an opening balance just to change something. So what it does is it launches Excel directly from RCT, but any changes that we save will be saved in the engagement itself, which is nice. And what I'll do is I'll close it down and I'll reopen it so everyone can see that the change has taken effect. Okay, there's the 25,000. So this allows us to work on all those documents in the document manager as well. And maybe what I'll do is I'll sign off on this. And we'll get 2 documents fully signed off and jump up to 50%. Okay. And this will give you the assurance that analysis has been run. It's already here. Like we've done it for you. You don't have to do anything. It's just there. And then if you want to add some commentary, you want to share that out. And then we've also got the familiar grouping documents, kind of like our, the lead sheets essentially. We can see that annotation, the global annotation from the working trial balance is pulling through as well as the issue, but we can work our way through the grouping pages here. So smaller engagement, we might want to do it all on the data page, the working trial balance. A larger engagement or review, we're probably going to want to do that on a grouping by grouping basis, and different people will have access to different sections kind of thing. Okay. And eventually once you're done this, of course you would go ahead and sign off, and then the manager might come off and review, and we can add multiple role sets in the initial screen earlier if you have more than two layers, 2 levels of sign off. But that's basically the review. I don't think there's too much more to show on the review side specifically. It is definitely worth noting that if we jump back to the CaseWare Cloud platform, we also have a nice engagements dashboard that will allow us to take a look at all of the engagements that we're responsible for in one place so that we can see the status. So we can scroll up and down if we're managing, a number of engagements. We can see the stage. If we want to click and expand the data points, we can read out all sorts of good, valuable information. So there's the 3 issues that we created. There's the adjustment we posted. If we did have a late request, it'd be over here. We can also see how complete the document manager is. 2 fully reviewed, 2 prepared, 75 outstanding, key dates. And if we did have, or if you did turn on the automated time entry, you could actually see how much time staff are spending in the engagements, as well as who's responsible for them. The other nice component we have is the built-in time functionality. So the idea is you can go in and create time entries, but better yet, we can actually create automation in the time entry process. So you can either do calendar integration through Google or Office 365 Calendar, or you can just set it so that it automatically detects the time people are in those files, and it'll create the time entries for you. Of course, that goes to a pending state. You can review it and adjust it as needed, but it's automatically created for you because, who likes to create time entries these days? It's also nice that we have a timeline available in CaseWare Cloud, so we can see what's going on, the different activities in the firm that are happening either in a particular engagement or are happening across all of your engagements. So I can come in here and I can see, today we've been working on ABC Company. Yesterday, Shabazz was working on C Landscaping, and Todd on Tuesday was working on Acme. Okay, so we have a nice timeline in here. You can create discussions as well, or tasks in CaseWare Cloud, again, to cut down on email use, but I can come in here and say for ABC Company, let's meet at Sarah. So we're going to pull through the contact. Oop. Can we meet through Zoom or something on Monday? And click post. And she'll get a notification. She'll come in, she can see, she can comment on that. And you'll notice too that even when you add your clients to a particular workspace, it's always going to make sure that the right information is being shared. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click share. And then Sarah will be able to comment. And we're going to see all these activities all centralized around ABC Company as well. It's also very worth noting that Analytics AI is coming soon. So the idea is we can pull in the GL detail. We can run a lot of those trend analysis and value-added insights at a transactional level even. We're also have the ability to create PBC requests for non-traditional, ReviewCompTax type engagements where you just want to manage the PBC requests specifically to that project. We can do that through the PBC requests tool. We also have a series of time expense billing analysis tools. This allows us to either create time entries, create expense entries, but very quickly we also have the ability to run WIP and invoicing. And so WIP would look something like this. All right, so built in. And on an invoicing side, it's going to go to the date range button. And we'll just show you a very quick example of some WIP, view, and we have information, transactions that it's made of, any amount, any write up or write down you can charge staff or prorate, the GL that's being affected, and we can finalize, and of course we can send this directly through the portal and the invoice is saved to the client workspace. We can also run analysis, whether you're looking at a time productivity type view or just the time entries themselves. We can do that directly from cloud, and we can export this out to CSV. So if you did want to get it out to another time and billing package, but you like the idea of the automated time entry, we can do that as well. Without covering everything, last thing we want to show is the activities, or sorry, the dashboards, I should say. I created an activities dashboard. And what this allows us to do is create our own custom views, things that we feel are relevant to us, and combine them into one dashboard so that we can come in the morning or afternoon and take a look at what's going on. So in this case, I've just chosen tasks and discussions so I can see what type of activities are going on in the firm. We've got a staff time and top 10 WIP from the time and billing side. If I did run any specific PBC requests or the ones that are integrated CaseWare working papers, they can be managed in here. And then CaseWare ReviewCompTax, again, I can come in here and take a look at the different engagements directly from the dashboard. And really what you're doing here is you're creating a dashboard, you edit it, you add whichever components that are available through cloud, save it, you can share it out if you think other people would find it valuable, and then you got yourself a nice dashboard. Okay, so we covered a lot of ground today. Just to recap a few things, we wanted to build an all-in-one integrated solution that streamlines engagements like compilations, review, and tax. We also designed a solution that encompasses a lot of the other work processes that you must really complete to complete an engagement. From the initial steps of gathering documents like a PBC to ongoing collaboration with clients, RCT allows you to take back control, close out open items, close them out faster. Built-in engagement dashboards keep you up to date with the latest changes, key data points, allowing you to monitor your projects all in one place. Streamline workflow to keep your staff efficient and effective. Our optimizer documents and guided workflow scopes in the right content at the right time and guide staff from start to finish. Intelligent reports are tailored by information already in CaseWare Cloud and from responses provided in real time, and all of this is built into the solution. Single sourcing data entry wherever possible cuts down on duplication of work and ensures accuracy and quality. And it is a true multi-user experience, a true real-time collaborative experience, meaning everyone can work on all parts of the file at the same time and are always dealing with live, up-to-date information. As a cloud-based solution, there's no installations, no file server requirements, reducing IT and overhead costs. And we're also now launching items like Analytics AI, and we've got built-in analysis within the PEG content, not only providing you greater data insights, but also assuring you of quality and compliance at all times. We hope you enjoyed this presentation and we invite you to try it out now, no obligation. We'll be delighted to spin up a cloud site for you with access to RCT on a trial basis to test some reviews, compilations, and tax yourself. If you decide to move forward, you will continue on where the trial left off. We will also provide your firm with a free onboarding webinar to provide best practices and general advice. Get in touch with CaseWare today to get started. Thank you.